headlines of this hour on VTV News. Party chief urged urgent support policies for private sector. Later on, administrative streamlining expected to be a business game changer. In a world news, South Korean court released impeached president from detention.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is now 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie with the latest updates. Now, during his official visit to Vietnam on Friday morning, Prime Minister Phie and Kyrgyzstan Prime Minister Adunbek Kashimaliev visited the President Ho Chi Minh relic site. The two leaders toured Uncle Ho's Tilt House, a small house next to the fish pond that has become a cherished national symbol and a beacon of international solidarity. Prime Minister Kashimaliev expressed profound admiration and deep respect for President Ho Chi Minh, whom he recognized as a symbol of Vietnamese patriotism and bravery. Prime Minister Phie reaffirmed that Vietnam remains committed to studying and following President Ho Chi Minh's ideology, morality, and style, an extremely important task for both the party and the people. Vietnam and the Kyrgyz Republic issued a joint statement on Friday. Both sides acknowledged the achievements in each country's recent socio-economic development in a warm and friendly atmosphere. They expressed satisfaction with the positive and effective progress in Vietnam-Kyrgyzstan relations, building on the successful outcomes achieved and the rich potential for cooperation. Both sides reiterated their commitment to enhance bilateral cooperation further and upgrade Vietnam-Kyrgyzstan relations to a comprehensive partnership at an appropriate time. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm chaired a meeting on Friday with the Central Policy and Strategy Committee to facilitate the growth of the private sector in the immediate future. During the session, the party chief called on policymakers to adopt comprehensive measures that allow private businesses to contribute their best shots to the country's growth target.
During the working session, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm emphasized that the private sector remains the most crucial driver of economic growth, accounting for over 50% of GDP and approximately 30% of state budget revenue. He called for a shift in perspective on the private sector's role in Vietnam's economy.
Vietnam must develop a clear and strategic approach to private sector growth, aligned with the country's current economic development and evolving geopolitical and geo-economic landscape. The state must provide guidance and direction. We cannot leave businesses to fend for themselves. We need to launch supportive mechanisms other than simply issuing business licenses.
Another concern is why many individual business owners hesitate to establish formal enterprises.
Businesses are not aiming big because they feel restricted by regulatory and procedural hurdles. We need to remove these barriers. While taxation plays a role, personnel requirements, such as mandatory chief accountants, directors, and management boards, discourage small businesses from formalizing. We need to revisit and simplify these regulations to better support entrepreneurs.
General Secretary Tô Lâm also highlighted the need to enhance linkages between private enterprises, state-owned companies, and foreign direct investment (FDI) firms.
We must ensure that a significant portion of FDI-related projects involve domestic companies. Foreign firms can bring in essential technology, but local enterprises must be integrated into areas like packaging, transportation, and advertising.
The party chief further stressed that private businesses, as well as state-owned and foreign enterprises, must have equal access to financial resources, production materials, and opportunities in key national projects. The Politburo is set to introduce a dedicated resolution to ensure progress in private sector development.
Prime Minister Phie led an online conference to discuss the prompt implementation of laws passed at the 9th Extraordinary Session of the National Assembly. These policies are designed to tackle practical challenges and eliminate institutional barriers. The Prime Minister stressed the need for rapid implementation, directing Deputy Prime Ministers and Ministers to finalize necessary decrees by March or April. He also encouraged gathering feedback to revisit policies and called for stronger agency coordination. The government will allocate nearly $400 million to support the execution of Resolution 57 on science, technology, and digital transformation. On Friday, at the National Scientific Conference on Vietnam's Foreign Relations and Diplomacy in the New Era, Nguyễn Xuân Thắng, Politburo member and director of the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics, praised the discussions for their theoretical depth and practical relevance. He emphasized the need for the foreign affairs sectors to innovate, embrace bold thinking and action, and play a leading role in enhancing Vietnam's international position. Following the strategic directions outlined by Party General Secretary Tô Lâm, he called for leveraging external resources and creating new opportunities to support the country's strategic breakthroughs and development. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm recently directed authorities to immediately reduce administrative processing times and business costs by at least 30% and eliminate around a third of unnecessary business conditions. Enterprises in Ho Chi Minh City believe these reforms will be a significant step forward if successfully implemented, providing momentum for economic growth exceeding 8%.
This company is passionate about its work in social housing projects, but land valuation challenges remain a major obstacle. It has been pushed to the brink trying to navigate ambiguous regulations without knowing what went wrong.
If we could reduce project approval times by 30%, it would be a game changer. We should also reduce the number of approval steps that require irrelevant agencies' opinions.
At a recent conference between city leaders and the local business community, many businesses emphasized the city's strength in trade and services, therefore calling for priority policies in these sectors. A key focus should be streamlining procedures to attract investment.
There needs to be a clear policy framework, including duty-free shopping in city centers. Many overseas Vietnamese are also traveling to shop in Thailand and Singapore, causing Vietnam to lose out on potential revenue.
HCMC has identified 2025 as a pivotal year for Ho Chi Minh City to accelerate growth and achieve double-digit expansion. One major initiative is the establishment of a public administrative center.
I have set up a special working team to resolve bottlenecks and am signing up as its leader. We aim to resolve 50% of centrally regulated issues and 100% of those within the city's authority.
Experts stress that the city must prioritize public investment disbursement, enhance logistics infrastructure, expand the metro network to ease congestion, and improve freight transport efficiency. A coordinated and effective implementation of these measures will propel sustainable economic growth.
Now, the State Bank of Vietnam has set a target of over 8% economic growth this year and will inject nearly $100 billion into the economy. However, ensuring sufficient capital for high growth remains challenging, particularly as medium and long-term capital channels like securities and bonds fell short of expectations. Commercial banks, which account for half of the total capital supply, are streamlining credit issuance processes while maintaining security.
This company specializes in fire-resistant wooden doors for commercial apartments. The $1.5 million loan it has secured barely sustained its production, as its orders have surged by nearly 50% this year.
We have signed contracts for some large projects, with over 9,000 doors to be supplied. Our capital needs are urgent, and we hope to access low-cost financing with streamlined procedures.
In response, some banks have rolled out targeted credit packages. One institution has launched a $587 million loan program for private businesses and small and medium-sized enterprises.
We have optimized internal processes, cutting approval steps by 30% and enhancing appraisal teams at headquarters. Additionally, we are leveraging digital platforms to improve access to funding.
Many banks are now developing ecosystem lending models centered around key customers. This approach allows private enterprises to access unsecured loans if they meet specific requirements.
For businesses with proven capabilities, we connect them with supply chains, creating more growth opportunities. Those integrated into our ecosystem also benefit from reduced fees and lower interest rates.
As of 2024, total economic credit is projected to reach 136% of GDP, with SME lending accounting for 19%. Enhancing support funds and credit guarantee programs at ministerial and local levels is essential to increase this share further.
Coming up next, long-term solution to provide mountainous area with clean water. And traditional cultural identity to be expressed through Vietnamese cinema. Welcome back to VTV News. Lotus Sat-1, Vietnam's first radar Earth observation satellite, has been completed and is ready for orbital launch, according to the Vietnam Space Center. The ground system in Hoa Lac is also fully prepared to receive data once the satellite enters orbit. Whilst Lotus Sat-1 was originally scheduled for launch last February, the mission was postponed due to the failed test launch of Japan's Epsilon S rocket. The Vietnam Space Center is now working with Japanese partners to establish a new launch date. Recently, a resident of Vietnam's two largest cities, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, have been growing increasingly concerned about air quality as poor weather conditions persist, impacting public health. As a result, there is a high demand for accurate location-specific air quality information. However, the cities currently lack the standardized data needed to provide comprehensive air quality updates.
At over 70 years old, Mr. Tuan joins other elderly residents from the Đường Sắt residential area on the Khâm Thiên Street, Hanoi, for their regular morning gatherings. Many topics are discussed, but the most frequent concerns are the weather, air quality, and the environment.
Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are densely populated city with high volumes of vehicle traffic, contributing to significant air pollution. Most residents rely on daily weather forecasts to get a general sense of air quality.
Residents who previously used foreign apps like Air Visual to monitor Hanoi's air quality have switched to searching for air pollution updates on their smartphones, though available information remains incomplete.
I have a habit of checking the weather forecast and using mobile apps to monitor air pollution levels.
Two official websites in Hanoi, including cem.gov.vn and moitrungthudo.vn, provide weather information and PM 2.5 air quality index updates. However, experts note that these indices only offer real-time air quality warnings. To accurately assess air quality, year-round daily tracking is needed to determine how often the AQI exceeds acceptable standards.
There must be a sufficiently robust air quality monitoring system, operate continuously, and provide hourly or even 15-minute automatic measurements.
According to experts, Hanoi's biggest obstacle in effectively addressing air pollution is not only the lack of strong pollution control measures, but also insufficient monitoring stations, unreliable data, and the absence of a standardized assessment system.
Although it is the end of the dry season in mountainous northern provinces, in many areas like Tho Chua district in Dien Bien province, people still fetch water every day for their basic needs. Clean water that meets the Ministry of Health standards is a luxury for many people here, with mountain streams being the most hygienic and nearest option.
Water from mountain streams is the only source for over 50 households in Hang Che Wan village, Mường Bang commune. After waiting nearly 30 minutes, Sung Thị Vang fills one can for her family's cooking. Due to the scarcity of water, it is used very sparingly.
After daily domestic needs, the water is given to livestock. Bathing is done here, but only once every few days.
The water shortage affects daily life and other activities. At Tu Ngai School, students carry cans of water for drinking and hygiene because the school, located on a hill, has no water source.
From February to April, water is very scarce. Students have to walk about 300 meters to fetch water for the school.
Tho Chua is a poor district with rocky terrain and caves, making water shortage nearly impossible. During the dry season, especially from February to April, low rainfall causes severe water shortage in some communes, impacting the quality of life and farming.
We have proposed building reservoirs to serve the community's daily domestic and production needs. However, the project has not been implemented due to the high costs.
Investing in water supply projects for the province's residents requires significant funding, so support from the central government and non-governmental organizations is essential.
Limited financial resources are also why many other Dien Bien areas face similar situations. A sparse population leads to high investment costs for providing water to each household. For many mountain residents, the journey to fetch water remains challenging.
Now, last week, the Vietnamese box office remained buzzing with excitement. The highlight of Vietnamese films being shown is The Ancestor's House, which has surpassed the $7.84 million mark in revenue. These impressive numbers show the appeal of Vietnamese films to audiences, but what is more worth mentioning is that many films have become a bridge for young people to understand and appreciate traditional values, thereby preserving and promoting Vietnamese culture in a modern context.
Vietnamese folklore, with its many mysterious and multi-layered stories, always inspire filmmakers. Most recently, the classic tale The Story of the Woman in Nam Sương inspired the film The Soul Lantern.
We incorporated many spiritual elements from folklore into the film. I have loved mysterious stories since I was a child, so when I made this film, I felt it was very suitable for me.
Costumes are a particularly important element of cultural expression in many film projects. Some films not only accurately create the style of period costume, but also pay attention to details such as how they are worn, the materials, and the color to be as historically accurate as possible.
During the costume design process, we constantly consulted with historical researchers to ensure there were no mistakes.
Recently, the film Nhà Gia Tiên depicted the culture of the Southwest region, paying attention to creating the setting of century-old ancient house to tell the story of the connection between the young people and their families in modern society.
I know many young people who do not know the meaning of many traditional cultural features. They do not even know where the ancestral altar is located in the house. That is why I wanted to make this film to spread those traditional cultural values.
Such films not only affirm the development of modern Vietnamese cinema, but also contribute to preserving traditional cultural values and continue to explore film potential for success when associated with national cultural identity.
This year's gift market for International Women's Day is experiencing a notable shift. Due to economic challenges, people are turning away from extravagant presents in favor of practical, budget-friendly, and unique gifts that offer a personal touch. Let's look into this trend in the following story.
In search of a lasting and meaningful gift within his budget, Two selected hand-painted stones as presents for his wife and daughter.
These products are beautiful and reasonably priced. I chose this meaningful gift depicting mother and child because it's environmentally friendly and can be displayed long-term.
These handcrafted gifts come in various designs, with options for customization. Prices range from $4 to $40 USD. Practical items such as shower gel, shampoo, and nutritional foods, also priced between $7 and $40 USD, have become equally popular choices. I prefer practical gifts with sentimental value, such as bath soaps, scarves, or gift sets that include a small comb and mirror.
Our gifts range from $7 to $10 USD, and we express appreciation through thoughtful presentation. We focus on product quality rather than excessive packaging to deliver better value.
The gift market for Women's Day has become vibrant with the rise of simple, suitable gifts that balance both style and price. These gifts offer aesthetic value while expressing the giver's special sentiments to the recipient.
Coming up next in the world news, South Korean court released impeached president from detention. U.S. and South Korea stop military drills. The impeached president of South Korea, Yoon Suk-yeol, was released from detention on Friday after the court accepted his request to cancel the arrest warrant related to his imposition of martial law for a short period. Yoon Suk-yeol petitioned the Seoul Central District Court last month, arguing that his prosecution for declaring martial law on December 3rd last year was illegal. President Yoon has been detained at a prison south of Seoul since being arrested by investigators on January the 15th. His impeachment process is ongoing. The impeachment hearing at the Constitutional Court in Seoul concluded on February the 25th, and a ruling on whether he will be removed from office or reinstated is expected to be made in mid-March. The U.S. and South Korean military announced a halt to all live-fire joint exercises after a South Korean fighter jet mistakenly bombed a village. South Korea's Ministry of Defense reported that the number of injured from the bombing has risen to 29, including 15 civilians and 14 soldiers, up from 15 the previous day. 2 civilians are in critical condition. Acting Defense Minister Kim Sun-ho apologized for the incident, promising to restore and compensate for the damaged property, and stated that a thorough investigation would be conducted to determine the cause and prevent future accidents. Initial findings suggest the bombing was caused by one pilot inputting the wrong target coordinates before takeoff. During a press conference on the sidelines of China's National People's Congress, Foreign Minister Wang Yi addressed international media, focusing on global issues and China's foreign policy. He called for negotiations to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict, stating there would be no winners. On China-Russia relations, Wang emphasized their long-standing friendship, free from alliances or confrontation. Regarding China-U.S. ties, he warned against U.S. pressure on fentanyl, stating it was America's issue to resolve and criticized U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods. He also expressed optimism that China will strengthen its technological innovation under pressure and called for the EC to become a peaceful and cooperative region. The Beija-Flor Samba School was crowned champion of the iconic Rio de Janeiro Carnival, marking their 15th title. The Beija-Flor Samba School dazzled the judges with their vibrant performance, which celebrated the rich cultural heritage of Brazil. Their victory solidifies their position as one of the most successful schools in Carnival history, continuing a legacy of excellence in Samba. More to follow.
Winning this year's championship marks another major moment for the school as its legendary singer, Neguinho de Beija-Flor, concluded his story with Beija-Flor after 50 years.
There's no other like it. 15 times champion, the greatest of them all, the mother, the one who teaches, the one who makes it happen.
The annual Rio Carnival is internationally known for block parties and the big budget spectacle of parades, featuring thousands of dancers in overboard costumes. The schools are judged on various criteria, including choreography, atmosphere, organization, and singing. These top samba schools command a loyal following from their communities, comparable to the devotion shown to local soccer teams.
It's a feeling of a cleansed soul, because I've been doing Carnival for many years. This is my second with Beija-Flor. Last year we didn't get the result we expected, but this year God honored us.
On Saturday, the 6 top-rated samba schools will hit the Sambadrome venue again for the all-night Champions Parade.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile application or check out our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at 3 p.m. local time.